If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns' decision to trade for Deshaun Watson has officially entered the annals of NFL history, but not for the reasons any franchise would hope. In a move that attempted to signal ambition and instant championship contention, the Browns made a decision in 2022 that now resonates as one of the most catastrophic trades the league has ever witnessed. By sending 3 first-round picks to the Houston Texans for Watson, Cleveland not only severed the head from the Baker Mayfield era, but also handed over a fully guaranteed $230 million contract that, at this point, feels more like an albatross than a cornerstone. The ramifications of this trade have become impossible to ignore, especially after watching Mayfield, the very quarterback they discarded, thrive on a new stage. Nick Padone, a seasoned Browns analyst, reached his breaking point recently, and it happened in prime time. Watching Baker Mayfield orchestrate a masterful touchdown drive on Monday Night Football, leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a perfect 2-0 start, Padone could no longer hold back his assessment. The day before, the Browns had fallen to their 17th loss in just 20 tries, leaving fans and analysts alike to ponder the magnitude of the franchise's misstep. On the Big Play Cleveland show, Padone did not mince words. "They made the worst trade in the history of professional sports," he said, his voice carrying the weight of someone who has followed every twist and turn of Cleveland football for years. The decision to move on from Baker Mayfield to Deshaun Watson still haunts this team. It's a hard argument to refute, as Mayfield cements himself among the NFL's upper echelon, leading his new team with poise and precision. The Browns are left grappling with a quarterback whose impact has been virtually non-existent. The team is sitting at 0-2, burdened with a roster that has yet to find its rhythm, while Mayfield's Buccaneers soar to a 2-0 start, leaving a stark and painful contrast between the past and present. Padone's criticism goes beyond wins and losses. It digs into the heart of organizational strategy, exposing a gamble that has yet to pay dividends. The offense has a $230 million albatross that they invested 3 first-round picks into, Padone elaborated. They still owe him $80 million on their cap sheet next year, and they've gotten quite literally zero production from that. When Cleveland signed Watson to a fully guaranteed 5-year extension, it was envisioned as a transformative moment, a quarterback who would lead the team to the playoffs and eventually, perhaps, to the Super Bowl. Instead, the reality has been starkly different. Watson has started only 19 games over 4 seasons, accumulating less than 3,500 passing yards and 19 touchdowns. For a franchise that mortgaged its future on the promise of elite quarterback play, these numbers are nothing short of catastrophic. Padone's comment that the Browns have received literally zero production is scarcely hyperbolic. It is a brutally honest reflection of a trade that has yet to yield any tangible benefit. What makes this miscalculation even more glaring is the opportunity cost. The Browns could have used those 3 first-round picks to address multiple roster deficiencies, to solidify positions of need, or even to complement Mayfield with surrounding talent. Instead, they bet everything on Watson, a quarterback who has been hampered by injuries and inconsistency, while the team's offensive line remains a liability. You could have used a first-round pick on an offensive lineman, Padone argued. The tackle position is laughable. The Browns' line has struggled to protect their investment, leaving Watson exposed and the offense sputtering. The very foundation of the team, offensive cohesion, line strength, and supporting skill players, was sacrificed for a gamble that has yet to pay off. And then there's the question of receiver talent. Critics might point to Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. as aging assets whose value has diminished, but Padone challenges this notion with a pointed counter. How would Jerry Jeudy look as WR2 with a guy like Malik Nabers as your WR1? The question is rhetorical but cutting, underscoring the fact that the Browns may have dismantled a budding structure that could have matured with Mayfield at the helm. Instead, Cleveland's current configuration appears adrift, reliant on a quarterback who has yet to deliver, while Mayfield, free from the constraints of the Browns' roster and cap issues, flourishes elsewhere. There is a certain tragic allure in imagining an alternate reality where the Browns did not trade Mayfield. Picture a Cleveland roster bolstered with 3 first-round picks, a cap space unencumbered by a $230 million contract, and a quarterback who now commands respect around the league. The mind wanders to a euphoric what-if scenario, where draft selections became cornerstone players, offensive linemen protected the quarterback effectively, and skill positions blossomed. Instead, the dystopian reality of this trade remains stark and undeniable. That $230 million contract, meant to be a franchise-saving gamble, now looms over the team like a shadow, set to occupy cap space for the foreseeable future with little hope of recouping the lost value. Pedone's indictment of the Browns trade resonates because it captures more than just numbers. It captures the emotional fallout of a fan base, the strategic missteps of a front office, and the stark contrast between expectation and reality. Cleveland has become a case study in how a single trade, no matter how high profile, can ripple through a franchise for years. The Browns' decision to pivot from Mayfield to Watson was made with optimism, but optimism has given way to frustration, and the trade, once seen as a bold move, is now widely regarded as catastrophic. Looking at the broader picture, the Browns' gamble also exposes the volatility and unpredictability of the quarterback market. Teams often chase potential, projecting future greatness based on past flashes of brilliance. Yet rarely do they account for injuries, chemistry issues, and the intangible elements that make a quarterback succeed. Watson's talent is undeniable, but talent alone has proven insufficient in the absence of continuity and cohesion. Cleveland, in this case, paid a premium not only in draft capital and money, but also in opportunity cost. Opportunity lost to fortify a roster that may have otherwise remained competitive under Mayfield's leadership. The conversation around this trade will persist for years, debated among analysts, fans, and former players alike. Pedone's statements on the Big Play Cleveland show are emblematic of a larger narrative. The Browns' move for Watson was bold, audacious, and ultimately disastrous. The fallout is quantifiable not only in wins and losses, but in the palpable disappointment that has settled over a fan base desperate for success, yet trapped under the weight of a colossal miscalculation. With $80 million still owed to Watson on the cap next season and no clear path to redemption, Cleveland faces a future that demands either extraordinary performance from Watson or another monumental shakeup to right the ship. Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield's resurgence only intensifies the scrutiny. Each touchdown, each efficient drive, each victory he secures with the Buccaneers serves as a mirror reflecting the Browns' lost potential. What once seemed like a bold leap toward championship contention now reads as a cautionary tale about patience, strategic foresight, and the dangers of placing all bets on a single player without adequate infrastructure to support them. The Browns, it seems, are living in the aftermath of one of the most infamous trades in professional sports history, a reality where what was supposed to be a franchise-defining move has instead become a cautionary tale for the ages. As Pedone succinctly put it, that dead weight is still around and is still going to be around next year. It's a stark acknowledgement that the Browns' miscalculation is not only historical but also ongoing, a burden that will influence decisions, roster construction, and fan sentiment for years to come. Cleveland's gamble on Deshaun Watson will forever be analyzed, debated, and remembered as a defining moment in NFL trade history, a move where ambition collided with misjudgment, resulting in a fallout that no franchise wants to endure. The Browns may recover, they may adjust, and Watson may yet find his stride, but the shadow of this trade is long, and its lessons are indelible. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. The Cleveland Browns locker room has reportedly become a stormy cauldron of tension this week, and the latest whispers coming out of Berea suggest that the situation might be more volatile than anyone imagined. According to insiders who have been speaking off the record, Kevin Stefanski, the Browns head coach, found himself in a heated confrontation with none other than Myles Garrett, the team's star defensive end, following what's being described as an intense, no-holds-barred dressing down in the locker room. Now, anyone familiar with Stefanski knows that he's usually the picture of calm, the sort of coach who lets the chips fall and keeps his composure even under pressure. But apparently, something happened during practice, or possibly even after a game, That pushed him over the edge, and the tension boiled over in front of the players. Sources hint that the confrontation wasn't just a quick exchange of words. It was loud, sharp, and left the locker room buzzing for hours after. Some of the players reportedly tried to step in, trying to mediate between the two, but the sheer intensity of the moment made it clear that this wasn't going to be an easy fix. It's the kind of situation where a team that's supposed to be unified suddenly shows cracks, and the media and fans are already beginning to speculate about how deep those cracks might run. There are murmurs that the conflict started over what Stefanski reportedly called a lack of focus and discipline during the week's practice sessions. While it's common for coaches to get frustrated with stars who might appear to be coasting or not giving full effort, Garrett is not just any player. He's the defensive anchor for the Browns, a game-changer who can single-handedly shift the momentum of a match. Apparently, the words Stefanski used were pointed, almost personal, which immediately struck a nerve with Garrett. Eyewitnesses described Garrett standing his ground, arms crossed, voice rising in response, making it clear that he wasn't about to take the critique lying down. The room reportedly went silent for a moment, the kind of silence that's almost physically palpable, before the murmuring and whispering started. This isn't just locker room tension. It's the kind of confrontation that gets under your skin, that other players remember and talk about for weeks. And in a league where team chemistry can make or break a season, even the hint of discord between a head coach and a franchise player is enough to set off alarm bells throughout the organization. Some insiders are claiming that this isn't the first time Stefanski and Garrett have had disagreements, though this latest one seems to have been more public, or at least more noticeable, than previous incidents. Rumors floating around the team suggest that Garrett has occasionally bristled at certain coaching decisions, particularly when it comes to defensive schemes and his role in them. While professional athletes are expected to toe the line and follow the coach's directives, someone of Garrett's caliber has earned a certain degree of autonomy on the field, and that autonomy can sometimes clash with a coach's vision. According to sources, the argument escalated to a point where the staff had to step in, separating the two before things got physically out of hand. While there's no indication that fists were thrown, the intensity of the exchange has reportedly left lingering tension in the locker room, and some players are quietly concerned about the team's atmosphere heading into upcoming games. The Browns have struggled with consistency in past seasons, and if the leadership isn't presenting a united front, that inconsistency could become even more pronounced. Adding fuel to the rumor mill is the fact that both Stefanski and Garrett have been tight-lipped in interviews this week, giving nothing away to reporters while the story swirls like wildfire. Observers note that Stefanski's typical calm demeanor in press conferences has been replaced with clipped, carefully measured answers, almost as if he's avoiding any chance of commenting on the rumored incident. Meanwhile, Garrett has been seen quietly leaving practice early on several days, sometimes heading straight to the weight room or the parking lot without stopping for the usual post-practice media engagements. Fans and insiders alike are speculating wildly. Is this a temporary spat that will blow over, or is it indicative of a deeper philosophical divide between the coach and one of his star players? Some have even suggested that this confrontation could have implications for contract negotiations, team leadership structures, or even how defensive play calling is handled moving forward. The rumor mill is alive and kicking, and every small detail, from Garrett's body language on the sidelines to Stefanski's choice of words and huddles, is being dissected and analyzed. It's worth noting that tension between coaches and star players is nothing new in the NFL. Teams like the Browns are high-pressure environments where expectations are sky-high and every decision is scrutinized. Yet, the intensity of this particular clash has insiders whispering that it could mark a turning point for the team. Some suggest that Stefanski's authority might be questioned if players perceive that Garrett, or anyone of his stature, can resist coaching directives without consequence. Conversely, others argue that Garrett needs to maintain a certain level of respect for the coaching staff if the team is going to coalesce and perform at its highest level. Both arguments have merit, and it's unclear which side the team will ultimately lean toward. What's clear is that the Browns' locker room isn't the same as it was a week ago, and that change, whether temporary or permanent, could ripple out onto the field in very noticeable ways. Rumors of side conversations, quiet meetings in Stefanski's office, and private discussions with team leadership have only added layers to the narrative, suggesting that the organization is fully aware of the optics and implications of this clash. Fans, of course, are already taking to social media in droves, sharing hot takes, theories, and memes about the confrontation. Some argue that Garrett has every right to stand up for himself, citing his dominant performances and leadership on the field as justification. Others side with Stefanski, saying that the head coach must maintain discipline and ensure that no player, regardless of status, undermines the team's cohesion. The online chatter is relentless, and every minor movement or statement by either party is being picked apart, dissected, and amplified. Even players not directly involved in the confrontation are reportedly feeling the pressure, as locker room dynamics shift subtly yet perceptibly. Sources say that some younger players are caught in the middle, unsure whether to align with the coach or the star, which could have long-term consequences for team unity. In a league where narrative often drives morale, this tension is not just a private matter. It's public drama playing out in real time, with fans, media, and insiders all acting as eager witnesses. The long-term consequences of the confrontation remain uncertain, but insiders suggest that the team is actively working to mitigate the fallout. Private meetings, one-on-one discussions, and even external mediators have been rumored as part of the effort to restore harmony. Some voices close to the team argue that this conflict could ultimately be a catalyst for stronger bonds, forcing both Stefanski and Garrett to confront issues that have simmered beneath the surface for months. Others worry that if not handled delicately, it could fracture relationships permanently, creating an undercurrent of distrust that might manifest in lackluster performances or even future disciplinary actions. As the Browns prepare for their next games, all eyes will be on how these two central figures interact, whether the locker room tension translates to the field, and how the broader team culture adjusts in response. The narrative is unfolding in real time, and with every practice, meeting, and press conference, new chapters are being written in what has quickly become one of the most talked about sagas in the NFL. Ultimately, whether this confrontation is a passing storm or the beginning of a deeper fissure remains to be seen. But one thing is certain. Kevin Stefanski and Myles Garrett have entered a high-stakes phase of their professional relationship, and the Cleveland Browns organization is now under a microscope. Fans, analysts, and insiders alike are watching closely, knowing that the outcome could shape not just the remainder of this season, but the trajectory of the franchise for years to come. Rumors, whispers, and speculation will continue to swirl as both sides navigate this challenging moment, and every action, word, or expression from Stefanski or Garrett will be scrutinized for hidden meaning. If the Browns are to overcome this internal conflict and maintain their status as a competitive team, the resolution must be both swift and effective, but judging by the intensity of the confrontation, achieving that balance will be anything but easy. For now, the locker room remains tense. The rumor mill is relentless, and fans are left wondering what comes next in what could be one of the most dramatic chapters in recent Browns history. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!